Hello and welcome to the fifth episode installation of Now Read This.
Now read.
Joining me today in the Wizard Garden is my good friend and fellow artist of the Pacific Northwest, Trap Spider Jesus. You want to say hello?
Hello, it's actually Crab Glider Breezes now.
Crab Glider Breezes, and I would like to ask you just maybe like a question or two about the musical group that you're in.
Yes, please.
Well, number one, what is the title now? You've gone to a few titles, and I want to know what you sort of settled on for the title of the musical group.
Title of the musical group is The Dirty Space Needles.
So it's Trap Spider Jesus and the Dirty Space Needles.
Yeah.
And you release music on SoundCloud?
Yes, we have one single out on SoundCloud. It's called Moonstone.
Moonstone, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna ask you to just like speak up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You don't be shy about your voice. You have such a beautiful voice.
Well, thank you. That's great praise coming from one such as yourself.
Oh my God! Well, I mean, you know, I'm going to do more in that regard soon. I'm going to be, I think,
Are you really?
reading book chapter by chapter every Monday or so.
Oh.
Because I need to keep up on the amount of books I'm reading, but then like I feel like I can't read enough books.
It's very important,
to do
the reading.
I have to read. So, well, you know, just in saying this interview here, we have a book to review for you. You want to reveal the book? It's called the Eye of the World.
And it's the first book in the Wheel of Time series.
Yes, written by the guy with two first names, Robert Jordan.
Oh shit, he does have two first names.
There is a plane going overhead here. We are in the acid realm here in the forest garden, and Trap Spider Jesus, his partner in crime here, Tits on a Biscuit, is hanging out with the cats. You can come over and say hello if you want. She looks great in some sparkling jammy pants, and she's holding a cat with maybe some worms. You come say hello real quickly. Hello, just oh, she don't want to be in the camera. She camera shy.
She's very shy.
Okay, well, let's get into the book. So it's the first book in the Wheel of Time series, written by Robert Jordan.
It's a very long series.
It's a very long series, but how many books in the series?
14.
14 incredible books, and in the 600 page or so, about
this one book is 700 plus. I think none of them are more than like 1100.
That is absolutely insane to me, and I've only finished the first book, but Trap Spider Jesus here is already gotten to book 5 of the series.
So close to done.
So close, I cannot believe it, and I cannot put it down. Just the first book alone was insane, but I would like to talk about some of the aspects of the series and the book,
please.
And what does it cover. So, I mean, my favorite character so far is the character Perrin, and he's one of the 3 boy characters in the show. I love the boys. And they are from a small village in the Greater Realm called the Two Rivers. And the Two Rivers is sort of like a sheltered village. Not much goes on there.
It's very much like the Shire.
Okay, yeah, very much like the Shire. Okay, elaborate on what is the core of the story kind of going towards here?
So it seems very Hobbit-esque, very Lord of the Rings-y, if you will.
Because I'm going to smoke mine a vape like a pipe
please.
As well.
So basically it's a sheltered little village, safe from all harm, basically completely removed from all the workings of the world. And then their peace is shattered.
Their peace is shattered because come to the village on the night of a celebration here. They are catapulted into sort of this storyline that none of them ended up ever expecting to be a part of. It in sort of largely because 3 of these boys are potential candidates for the realm of the Dark Lord.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it sort of goes on. They're traveling from the village accompanied by two characters who are sort of like high priestess, and of magic,
And for your god.
and warrior god. What is that?
A god who is a warrior.
Oh, a warrior god. Yes, I thought
Not someone who hides in the closet while watching.
he guards the people that warrior.
He guards the people that watch from the closet
I
through the slats.
Oh man,
Beeping.
I've never been there, but I hope I never am. So they kind of are traveling around and get they're on a chase, being chased by orc-like creatures called the Trollocs.
Horrible. Half men beast creatures.
Made sometime of goat legs, made sometime of ram horn, made sometime of zebra head. And
Also sometimes eagle beak.
eagle beaks, yeah, so I can never really predict what the Trolloc would do, but Rand, the main character, or the main character so far, is basically, it's hinted at that his descendant is not of the two rivers, yeah? He's not
Yeah,
of the
that's
two
what
river
it comes
blood?
out to. It's basically he thinks his daddy is his daddy and his mama died while he's child.
Yeah.
But in reality, that is not the case, and he was raised by men who not his daddy.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, so daddy issue in there, and
Very much.
you know, and there's sort of two realms of magic, sort of yin and yang.
Yeah, the male and the female.
The male and the female powers that that in the world, and one can only be channeled by the females, and one can only be channeled by the males. But the males have become corrupted by their own selfish desires for power.
There's madness in the male side of the magic.
True, and that, I mean, if I'm going to say one thing negative about the book so far, it is that the condescending tone of the female characters toward the male characters in general are a little bit frustrating. Not anything to do with how I like female characters. I like them to
I
be...
love strong females.
Me too, but the thing about
Muscular.
it, sort of, yeah, muscular females, they sort of are very condescending in tone to the nature of the male side of magic, and also just the male characters in general.
They're really kind of dicks.
Yeah, they are. They have more dick than
The men.
the machine in the male, and I think there are some sort of redeeming qualities about it. I don't think it's too great of an obstacle to overcome, but you are farther in the series than I am.
Yeah, and so, you know, that continues that theme throughout the series. He is very good at writing sort of flawed male characters whose flaws become a redeeming point of the characters themselves.
Indeed.
Whereas the females seem to be just all flaws with tiny redeeming bits of not dickishness.
That is disconcerting to me in a way, because, like I said, I'm only so far into the series so far, and I really want these female characters to develop in a way that is not only evil, but also in a good way without seeming too overbearing. I think there is I think there is potential for greatness there.
There is, yes.
The
There
whole
are very bright moments down the line.
Absolutely, indeed, and the way that the females are developing now in being able to be trained by the Aes Sedai or Aes Sedai, or however, the Aes Sedai are sort of like the group,
They're like the Mages Guild.
the Mages Guild of the
ladies.
of the Tower of Tar Valon.
Yeah.
Tar Valon?
Tabat.
Yeah.
Tervalon.
Tar Valon. So I think that the main thing in this book specifically is it's a chase book.
Very much,
It's
yes.
sort of like this continual chase and journey from one point to another in this chaotic sort of separation. They get separated at different avenues of the storyline. Thank you, good faith. Going overhead
Say no
here.
of your recording.
Oh yes, but I'm simply
Did you not
got-
submit your video plans to the tower?
I tried, but the financial fee was too great for humble artists such as me. But the chase is riveting indeed. In fact, at certain points frustrating, because the characters get separated to a certain degree. They sort of are looking for one another and forming and just barely escaping with their own skins at certain points. But the chase scene, for instance, with the Perrin and Egwene, and the time when they encounter Elias, which I will not go into the spoilers of, that I think was my favorite part of the book.
Truly an amazing scene.
Incredible. Just I read through it so quickly. I had to go back and read it again.
It did the exact same thing.
It blew my mind. I was like, this is too much to choke down at one time.
I find myself reading the pages like this.
Yes.
And then
Exactly.
and then I was done, and then I had to go back and read again.
That was the only one I actually went back and read over because I was so riveted by the...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we came together. I mean,
so much 5.
Cancer power here and the Wizard
Cancer!
Rogue. But anyway, so throughout most of the book itself, it is a chase book, and then at the very end, sort of, I won't reveal too much, but it is revealed that Rand is more and has more power than he sort of had before, and it is revealed that he is in possession of something within himself that is not only powerful, but far more dangerous than he could ever imagine,
yes.
and is sort of a threat to the Aes Sedai sort of Mages Guild.
And the world in general.
Indeed, the female magic, its sort of goal in the world is to gentle these males by taking away and separating themselves from the power that is naturally residing within them. And Rand has to kind of struggle with the idea of giving up his innate sense of self that he has developed and found, or submitting to the powers that be. And I think that's sort of what the second book was I'm in right now is sort of going into more.
Yes.
But Perrin and Matthew, Matt, I don't think it's Matthew, but they are sort of these 3 aspects of the male character. Is like humorous and sort of reckless and knavish, yeah, sort of like a rogue.
Yeah, a rake.
Yeah,
a rake at the gates of hale.
Yes, like a Khajiit in some ways, and then Perrin is sort of this stout, sturdy, steady character.
Very grounded. Like a bull.
And Rand has this identity crisis, but all 3 of them are sort of starting to realize that they have these powers and individual perspectives of the world and things that only they can do, which all of them I don't want them to lose, and they, I think, are at a war within themselves and their own identities about whether they want to let it go or embrace it, and I think that I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, the struggle between accepting the call to adventure or retreating back to the safe life that they knew.
What would you say so far is your favorite character? Just having read the first 5 books, I mean, so far, and I know that there's more characters, but out of the ones that...
Personally, I really enjoy how Perrin and Matt have developed.
Oh.
Because Rand is an amazing character.
Indeed.
Truly an amazing character. However, Matt and Perrin, with their flaws, are just infinitely fascinating. I mean, Matt is an absolute scamp. He is truly. I mean, and if you look at them, you could sort of define them as earth, wind, and fire. Like you have Perrin's a very grounded earth-based, and he's very stubborn, but also very slow and plodding, methodical. People think he's slow, but he's not. He's just thinking.
He's very clever.
Deep thoughts.
Yes, he doesn't speak too soon.
No, and then when he moves with will.
Yeah.
And
he's the only one
purpose.
So far that has killed another person, yeah. So far, an actual human, in the first book anyway.
Indeed, yes.
Which I was so excited about.
Oh, it was amazing.
Embracing this animalistic sort of tendency, which will be elaborated on in the book. But
indeed.
And then Matthew be wind, you'd say?
And then, yes, absolutely. Matthew is wind. He's, constantly buffeting about. His mind is moving very quickly. He's always, his fingers in many pies, you could say. And, it's all about sort of just surface charm and mischievousness, I would say. Just like, a wind.
Yes, he's flitting about hither and thither upon the wind of air.
Yeah, just a mischievous wind.
And then Rand is fire.
Rand is absolutely fire. I mean, as evidenced by, in the later books you may find out, but yes.
He's tumultuous.
He's very tumultuous, and he seems to swing violently between these massive flare-ups of power and rage, and then feeling regret over them and smoldering himself.
Also, I'm very excited to see about how Egwene, and the other one who I can never
Egwene.
pronounce, Egwene, and
Nynaeve.
develop, because they have power within themselves, and Moraine seems to think they have much potential
Yeah.
as members of the Aes Sedai.
Yes, and they really do. They develop lovely, amazing powers as the story progresses.
They do
I mean,
irritate me, but yeah.
They are incredibly irritating.
Especially Nynaeve, yeah.
She's a real bitch.
She totally is. I completely get that, and I just hope she gets, I hope she can somehow get some maturity that does not come from other people's affirmation.
Yeah, you know, it is frustrating. It's actually one of the main frustrating points that I have come across in the book so far.
Okay.
But she learns some lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, as you would expect in a book of 14 books.
Absolutely. I mean, I've only
If
scratched
there
the
were no
surface.
lessons learned, it would be quite boring.
Well, I would strongly suggest you get this book.
Very much. It's incredibly difficult to put down.
Yeah, I mean, just riveting in general, and very well written. He's very simplistic, stylistically writer, but I think he's just got a very deep mind, and he gets into the brain of the character and perfectly sort of communicates the attributes. But thank you so much for showing me the book.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Every time you tell me something that I need to either listen to or read, it is just like, it is exactly what I need at the exact moment.
I'm very glad.
I feel like we're melded in some way like that.
Very much.
Speaking of which, the music here is also a record that Trap Spider Jesus here told me about. It's called The Rise and Fall of the Third Stream. And it's by a man named Joe Zawinul, who is a keyboardist from Austria, who was actually featured on the album Bitches Brew, which must have been written for Nynaeve.
I do believe.
In the 60s.
I do believe so.
Bitches
It's
Brew,
written for her in the past for the future,
Indeed,
which was set in the past.
incredible synth player, incredible keyboardist, incredible composer, and I just cannot put his music down. But I would strongly suggest you look it up and just get it, and thank you again for showing me that, because I have not been able to stop listening.
I'm so glad. Mind expansion.
And
that's why we're here.
Thank you for joining us today. This is the first time I've had another friend on to the show. I would love to do this more.
Oh, anytime.
This is celebratory and just wonderful. And please go online to SoundCloud and find the Dirty Space Needles.
We should have another single coming out in the next week or two.
He puts them out and they are like the craziest things I've ever heard. It's like a mix between a fantasy novel and like glamorous sort of like flapping of wings, and then like strange prayers that take the form of blowing ash upon the wind, and like all these gritty synthesizers, so much density in the synth. Is the other guy in the group, your sort of other counterpart, what is his name again?
His name is Jaime, but he also goes by Edgar Allen Dope at the moment. So it's constantly changing.
I love it, Well,
he's very deep.
Thank you for joining us today, and I again stream these about every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between the hours of about noon and 3 o'clock. I'll probably have Trap Spider Jesus on more.
I will come anytime.
It's just a pleasure to talk with you, and always such a wonderful experience. And please, once again, you can like, subscribe, and comment on the links below. I will include the link to Trap Spider Jesus' music. You can go find The Fame Riot at thefameriot.com.
Always listen to The Fame Riot.
You can find a Hard Stray EP on Spotify or iTunes. You can purchase or stream it. And then, I have some more announcements that will be coming soon. I have a gift for all of you very soon that I'm going to be announcing soon. I've said soon like way too many times now, but
it's just the right amount, because you're really emphasizing that it will be not now and not far in the future.
True.
But somewhere in between.
Most likely mid-September I will have a very exciting announcement for free that will be subscriber-based, not paid, but free for the first few subscribers. I will let you know more about that as it goes along, but thank you so much. You may email me at readwithshazam@gmail.com. You can find the email address below. You can send me a book to read or review if you're unpublished, if you want. And then on Mondays, I'm thinking about possibly going through a chapter at a time of any given book and doing my own version of the audiobook recording. But thank you so much for joining us once again. What a pleasure it has been to talk with you. Join me again on Friday for another review. And once again, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much.
I love you.
Just,
yes.
I love you so. And
two
and
men
it's
in
been a
fancy
pleasure.
dresses.
But be safe. Enjoy this beautiful Pacific Northwest day. We are about to go hang out with some dwarven in some dwarven ruins with some elves
Oh, yes.
and another maiden. So be safe today, and thank you.
Thank you.